Hi guys, Irina here. I'm doing my Facebook Live challenge and today is number 13, and I want to do 30 over the course of, I think 3 months or something like that. I've been really enjoying doing these lives and getting some feedback. Thank you guys for letting me know that you watch this and it matters. It always touches me deeply when this changes somebody's life. So that's really my goal, is to give you something that can move you forward in your journey towards your goals, to really creating the life that you want. I wanted to talk today about procrastination. Procrastination. Recently, quite a few clients brought it into our work together as something they struggle with. And I'm gonna follow a little structure today here. So I'm gonna talk about first, what is it that I wanna touch on today? But I basically wanna talk about procrastination and what it is, why it happens, and what's behind it. So there is a very specific psychological mechanism behind procrastination that if you know it and you can address it, then you can basically bust your procrastination. You can stop procrastinating and actually doing what you want to do instead of procrastination. It's very common, right? A lot of people struggle with it, and then it kind of spirals into this like more procrastination, then we beat ourselves up for it, and then we like get really stuck. So this is what I want to talk about today. And so why is it important? Well, we want to be productive. Probably our culture, American culture, San Francisco Bay Area, everybody wants to be productive, but it's not, for me, it's not even about like being productive and, you know, achieving your greatest success. It's more about creating what really matters to you, what really is important to you, what really is maybe your soul's calling, or like really your deepest expression in the world. And that area that really matters to you, you will procrastinate most about because it's most important, right? And then the stakes are really high. So for example, I've wanted to do something like this, like Facebook Lives, because I want to work on my presentation skills and talking skills. And I've, it took me 2 years to do something like this, like what I'm doing today. And it's not even that I wanted to be productive, that I wanted to do Facebook Lives to, be productive, but it's something that was calling my expression. It's like my energy wanted to expand and to reach more people and to be more visible. And it was more like a soul's calling or purpose, you can say. And I was procrastinating on that. So for me, procrastination is really something that stops us from expressing our gifts in the world. It's something that blocks our expression. It's something that not allowing you to move on maybe your soul's calling, on something that you really want to do in this life, something that is, the energy is moving through you and you want it to be expressed, and you have this impulse, you have that movement toward expressing it, but then you procrastinate, and then procrastination then blocks that movement of your energy, of life force energy through you into the world. And for the reasons we're going to talk about. But that's why I feel like it's so important for me to talk about that, because it's just really unfortunate that you would stop your soul's expression, and you won't do what you really want to do in this world because of what I'm going to talk about today. So knowing how it works, knowing how to work with it, knowing the psychology behind you will absolutely help you to overcome your procrastination and to express your gifts in the world. Maybe start a business that you want to start. If you're helping professional, if you coach, therapist, and you want to be more visible, working with avoiding that will help you to accomplish that, to make more impact, to touch more people, to create a difference you want to create in the world. So that's why procrastination, when I talk to clients about the procrastination, it's just so painful, because a lot of my clients want to start their business, and the business is something that's really calling them, that's something that they know is deeply fulfilling, something that's just so important for them to do, and yet they're unable to do it. And it's very painful to have this calling, have this mission, have the purpose, and then unable to express it in the world. So it's a real pain point. And whether or not, and for some people who want to be more productive, that's something we can do too with this process I'm going to talk to you about. But for me, it has this I really felt that pain when there was energy that was moving through me and wanted to be expressed in the world through this whatever lives, right? It was through some teachings, and I was unable to do it, and I procrastinated on it. And that's really it hurts. It hurts. There's a real pain in it. And that's why I'm so passionate on helping moving through that procrastination towards just really moving, right? Procrastination is like a block. And then once you move through it, there's more creative energy expressing itself in the world. And ultimately the world is a better place if we all know this process, how to work with it. And why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to do what we really want to do? Why procrastination even exists? Why is it so such a big issue? Why is it such a big deal and a big problem that people have and face? Why? That's a good question, right? What makes it so hard? And that's what I'm going to talk about today. But basically, it's it works like this. When we want to express something into the world, and the stakes are really high, and we really want to do it, there's a lot of fear that comes in. And if you because the stakes are high, and there's a lot of, usually what people say, so I'm just gonna backtrack and say that it's hard because it's hard to overcome procrastination. Before going into explaining how it works, I just want to say that it's hard because there is an emotional reason for procrastination, and we tend to be very logical and mind-driven in our culture, and so we tend to try to overcome procrastination with productivity hacks and time management. And that's a very surface level solution that will never work on a deeper level. So if it works, it works. So you can try those. So usually if it's a matter of organization, if it's a matter of, productivity, time management, then you can do it. You can totally use the apps or structure your time, and then that will take care of that. But usually those things don't work because they are very surface level solution, and the problem is deeper in the subconscious, in emotional work. And so it's hard to it's impossible to overcome the real problem, the real reason of procrastination with those hacks such as productivity apps or time management, or trying to structure your day, because we all know it's not about the time. If anything, I say it's all about energy management, because we have time to watch Netflix, we have time to scroll social media, we have time to do all the things we do when we avoid doing the real thing. So it's not about time management. I never bought this idea that it's time management is the solution. No, if anything, it's the energy management and knowing where to direct your energy and having the energy. So let me give you, I can use my own story, but and just give you an illustration of procrastination and what's really blocking it, right? And using my own example, but maybe it's 2 years ago, I really wanted to offer a group program, and I was really procrastinating. It took me maybe 6 months just to up the courage and do it. And when I was reflecting and what is it that I'm really avoiding here? So procrastination looks like you have you came up with a goal, a want, like, okay, I was like, well, I really want to do a group program. Okay, great. Like, is it aligned? You know, you can check, like, is it what I really want? Is it a should? So you can check about the goal first, whether or not it's something you're really aligned with. For me, it was aligned. I just really wanted to do it. It was like a desire for me to do it. Oh, there's like a car outside. It's really weird. So weird. So I was like, okay, I really want to do it. I want to do this group program. But every time I sat down to write an email, to reach out, I was like, I couldn't do it. I was, you probably have your own favorite ways to procrastinate. There's like I would call it like active and passive procrastination. Passive procrastination is kind of like you just shut down and you just like sit and you're just unable to start something. You just kind of like in this like almost like freeze and fawn response, which is again pointing you to something that you probably there's not enough safety for you to start on this project. But basically there's like real sometimes nervous system shut down. You're just unable to do it. You can like sit in front of your computer and stare at your screen, unable to start something. And maybe if you want to create something, you're just like unable to start typing, unable to you just can't, like writer's block, right? Writer's block is sort of like that passive, like kind of freeze fawn procrastination that you're unable to move through. And another way we could procrastinate is when it's an active procrastination. So active procrastination looks like you'll do everything but this, right? You clean your house, you organize closets, but you won't do a thing that really matters, one thing that's really, like for me, when I wanted to launch this offer, this group program, I could do everything else related to my business. I could, I don't know, pay my business credit card bill or those like things that are emotionally easier, but I couldn't sit down and like announce it, right? Or I couldn't write that email saying, hey, I have this offer. I couldn't announce it on Facebook. Those things I was completely, and sometimes I did find myself like watching Netflix in midday, just completely like, or going for a walk, or just completely doing things. I could still be doing things, but I wouldn't do one thing that really mattered, that would move the needle in this project that I really want to do. So that could be like active procrastination, where you're so busy, but you're busy with things that are really not moving you towards your goal. And you procrastinated on this one thing that's really important. You always say, I'll do it tomorrow, but tomorrow, tomorrow never comes. It's only now. Everything is now. So you probably can relate to to what I'm saying, but yeah. So my personal story is that I was just unable to move on this project that I really want to do. And then when because I am, we can say, the queen of inner work, what I do really help people to understand what is this process inside of them that blocks themselves, right? Because we create this blocks inside of cells. It's all an inside job. So of course, applying my medicine to myself, I was like, well, and I know, so this is one, okay, so the first thing you need to know about procrastination, there's something always an avoidance of something, right? So procrastination is an avoidance mechanism. So it's a protective mechanism. So you're avoiding something that your whole system perceives as something unsafe. And so it will just protect you from it. Avoidance is a form of protection. So first thing, you need to understand, what is it it's protecting you from? What is it that you are likely afraid of? So the first step will be like underneath the avoidance, underneath procrastination, or any avoidance for that matter, scrolling social media, or what else we do to avoid it. I mean, basically, we can really use anything to avoid the thing that we need to do, because that's how it works. Sometimes it can be you know, the most popular ones is like social media scrolling, YouTube, Netflix, right? Those are like our favorite ones. So first thing, okay, there's fear. So if you're procrastinating, there's likely fear behind it. You're afraid of something. You're afraid of something that will happen if you start doing it. So you can, in my story, it's like, okay, I'm avoiding it. I'm afraid of something. What am I afraid of? Okay, let's go through the scenario. Let me do the visualization. Okay, so I launched this offer. So this is how you make that fear more conscious, is that you can literally go and go through your fear scenario. Let the fear, imagine the fear is playing out on the big screen in front of you. Okay, so what am I afraid of? I'm afraid of if I launch this offer, I launch this offer, I'll let people know, and nobody signs up. This is a big fear for me. It stops me from organizing a lot of events. That's my favorite. It's like, nobody will see me, nobody will come, nobody will say yes. Okay, so then what? So you have to, with fears, you have to kind of like play it out all through, you know, to the end. If it's death, then all the way to the end. Okay, so I'm afraid nobody will say yes. So you can imagine, like, literally, I would imagine, sit down, I write the email to this person, I'll put it on Facebook. Basically, I'll launch the software, I explain what it is, and then nobody said yes. Oh, so what do you feel then? Okay, I'm afraid of that, but what will I feel once that happens? Well, what I feel probably shame. I'll feel like a failure. Here I am, so excited about the software, launching it, people, and then I basically don't have any people sign up. Oh, that I've actually, as I'm talking right now, it's like physically hurts, right? So there's shame, there's like feeling of failure, there's some helplessness. That's a whole bunch of uncomfortable feelings. Oh yeah, no wonder I'm avoiding that. Of course I don't want to feel that. Of course I don't want to feel that, because any project that we start, there is a risk of failure. And the more it's connected to our soul purpose, to our creativity, to our life energy, the stakes are higher in those projects. So those are the hardest to start, because if I launch an offer, ooh, what happened? How did it come? Oh, my light went out. Okay, well, it's okay. So if I launch an offer, but I don't really care about it, here it is. If I launch an offer and I don't really care about it, then I'm like, nobody signed up. Well, who cares anyway, right? Like, I don't care. It's easy to not procrastinate on things that we don't really care about. It's kind of like, well, so what? Okay, not a big deal, right? But if I'm doing something if I want to do something, a project that's really important to me, that matters to me, that really, like, that's like this deep want that I have, the stakes are so high. And so if I fail, I'll be hurt. And so in my scenario, when I imagine myself like nobody responding, nobody actually saying yes to my offer, that brought up a lot of uncomfortable feelings, so much. And I had to like really go through that and make it as real as possible for myself. So I'll stop fearing those feelings, because fear of that experience is what creates procrastination, is what stops us on moving on something that really matters to us. So in my group office scenario, I went in and I really imagined basically my worst fear materializing. And for the people who are really into like manifestation or like attraction and law of attraction, like, don't think about the negative, like really think positive, which creates a lot of toxic positivity. By the way, which is a subject or maybe different life. This is not about attracting your worst outcome. This is not about it. Will not attract your worst outcome, but you need to be in peace with the worst outcome, because if you're not, your subconscious will always be afraid of it, and it will not go into say like into doing something, because there is always a potential of this negative outcome happening, and if you're not okay with this, would not feel safe. So your nervous system, your subconscious, your whole body will not feel safe unless you willing to accept and be in peace with the most negative outcome. So by going through that scenario in your mind, you're actually freeing yourself from the fear, which is a little counterintuitive, but if you really think about it, it does make sense. That if I'm okay with the worst case scenario, if I'm accepting it, if I say, okay, I'll still be okay, then your whole nervous system get to relax and feel safe, and it will not guarantee that worst case scenario. It's not like you're going in with this expectation, but you're no longer held up by the fear. So that's how it works. So you're actually getting freed from that fear by kind of imagining and going through it. So in my story, I went in and I really imagined that, okay, I launched this offer, nobody said yes, and I'm feeling all the feels, right? I'm feeling the shame, I'm feeling like a failure, that brings on the shame. I feel helplessness, that also brings up the shame. So I'm feeling all the feels, and then I give myself some time to really feel the feelings, to really feel them. And this is what's really important part here, is that then I ask myself the question, if that happens, will I be okay? But that's not logical. It's not illogical, like I know rational, I'll be okay. No, it's not that. It's more like, if that happens and I really in this low point, I'm feeling like a failure and helpless, will I able to accept myself? Will I still love myself? Will I be with myself? Will I able to support myself through this? And this is actually the key question. So it's not even about uncovering this fear or uncovering those uncomfortable feeling underneath. It's about whether or not you can accept that part of you that will feel all these feelings and feel like a failure and still love yourself. This is what will create safety. So sometimes for my clients, the answer is no. And they will literally not, and they will not start on a project that's really important to them, like a business, and maybe there's some investments that need to go on, right, and go into business. And then if they fail and they lose it, and if the answer is will they, then the question is like, well, if you fail and if you lose the investments, if you lose the time, you started this project, it was your dream, it didn't work. Are you able to still love yourself? And if the answer is no, then that's what we need to work on. Then that's the block. It's the block is that there's too much anger at self-aggression, not enough self-compassion, self-acceptance to move through this if it happens. And because subconscious knows that that's a possibility, it will not allow you to go there, because it's not safe. So with myself, there was a process where I was like, well, if I failed and nobody signed up and, I feel helplessness, will I love and accept myself? Or will I beat myself up? Will I say, well, of course nobody signed up because, you are blah, 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 and then whatever things we say to ourselves. So it was a point where I could not accept that I can fail. it was absolutely not allowed, not acceptable in my system. I would not do anything that there has a potential of failure, has a potential of, yeah, not succeeding. So I would do only things that I knew I'm very comfortable with at succeeding. So, and guess what? I stopped myself from growing by doing that, because I would not, like, if I want to take a pottery class, I was just talking to remember this conversation with the client, and she wants to take a pottery class, right? But she's new at taking a pottery class, so it's like when she takes a pottery class, she'll feel like she doesn't know what she's doing. So it's like feeling incompetent. We feel, like we're not good at something. It's not a fun feeling. Can you love and accept yourself when you feel you're not good at something? You're incompetent. For now, you're not good at something yet, right? But at the beginning, it's always this feeling of not being good at something. That's how we grow. So in my story, there was a time where I absolutely could not tolerate failure. I was just like, nope. I'm only doing things I know I'm good at, and only that. So this is like this much, right? But then eventually I was like, well, like with this group offer, I was like, well, I'm actually willing to risk it. And I developed enough self-compassion. By the way, I have a reel somewhere about how to overcome fear of failure, and do like a nice meditation there on how you can love and accept your failed part. Check it out if this resonates. If you kind of can tell that your reason for not doing the project or procrastinating is fear of failure, that's a good one to check out. And when I did that for myself, and I was like able to get to a place through working with suppressed anger, that's a big one, to discharge that inner critic, inner aggression, and developing enough self-compassion for myself. So kind of like do them concurrently. You work on your anger. Your suppressed anger will always turn into inner aggression, and that will create a lot of criticism of yourself, imposter syndrome, a lot of self-doubt, all those good stuff. So there came a point in my life where I worked through my suppressed anger enough, and I developed enough self-compassion where I said, you know what, it's okay if I fail. I actually was able to sit with the part of me that experienced failure. So uncomfortable, by the way. It's not like, it's not an easy, it's a simple but not easy process, because the feelings are really uncomfortable, it's painful. But when I was able to sit with my own failures, you can say a state of failure, which we have, as humans, we have a good chunk about. It's not possible to be successful in everything. We're gonna fail in some things. It's just not possible, right? But we can't accept that part of us a lot of times if we identify with successful, and that's part of straight A student sort of what is it called? Straight A student syndrome, right? Is that you're so used to getting A's. I was a straight A student, and so I was so used to getting A's that like a B was a catastrophe, and then C I could not like live with myself, and if I got a C, it was so upsetting. This really like messes up with your with your psychology. I did not want my kids to be straight A student. Oh my God, please no. I'll encourage them to get a range of grades so they can accept themselves with different grades. So that was a lot of my conditioning. Was straight A student, was on top of her class, and then so in the shadow was this part of me that didn't feel good at something, that failed, that was not competent. And so when I developed enough self-compassion, discharged the anger, worked with some of my suppressed anger, and I was able to sit with her and just be like, and bring that unconditional love for her and say, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for me whether you're successful or not. I will still love you. That unconditional love that feels so nourishing, where you don't place love for yourself on some conditions like success, you know, money you make or whatever, titles, achievements, but you let all that go and just say, you know what, I just want you to be happy. Like, doesn't matter. For me, when I am able to look, I'm gonna cry. It's so beautiful. When I'm able to look at myself with those eyes, it's like releasing a lot of inner tension and struggle and suffering, and just saying, hey, do you want to try launching this program? Do you just try and see what happens? And if nobody signs up, I still love you. I still here. Nobody sees you. Nobody says yes to you. That's okay, because I'm here and I love you. Literally brings up so much emotion for me, because it's the most healing thing we can do for ourselves. And get what? Get this. It's not only healing, but then guess what happens after? After all this tension and inner like suffering and avoiding is resolved, then after that process, only after I'm able to sit with myself in that failure, in the shame of launching something and that not being successful, then I'm able to do it. Then I'm like, okay, let me try it. Let me do it. Let me just go for it. Let me try it. And I'll be okay either way. But it's not a logical thought, like, I'll be okay either way in my head. It's like, it's a full body experience of knowing in my gut that I will not reject myself if I fail, or if I reject myself, I'll be able to course correct and eventually accept myself. There's enough self-love, self-acceptance, and discharge anger out of my system, then I will not attack myself. And eventually I will arrive at a place of peace, whether or not it worked, whether or not it didn't work. And that is freedom. That is freedom, because when I'm in this place, then I don't procrastinate. It's very clear and clean. What happened in my story, I did launch that project. I did launch that group. I actually launched it twice. And both times they didn't work. The first time, I just didn't get, I know I didn't get enough people to launch the group. I don't know if I got like 1 or 2. I know the second round I got like 2 people. And so the first time I launched it and nobody signed up, it was my worst fear materialized, and it was still very hard because it was, real experience. And I think I was out of commission for 2 days. I was just having really hard time with it, I did feel shame. I did feel like a failure. All those real feelings came up, but I was prepared, and I knew that those feelings won't kill me. I felt bad for 2 days. And then I was like, okay, came out of it. I gave myself a little breather, thought about I thought about the group offer. I revised a little bit. I launched it again. I got a little more traction in it. I think I had like 2 people, and one was like kind of in and out. And I ended up not doing it. So I wish I had a more successful story for you, but that's not the point. I think eventually this kind of strategy will be successful, because if I keep just reiterating and doing, right, eventually it will work. There's no other way. But my point was that it's better to try and not succeed, right? So at least I wasn't procrastinating. I tried something, it didn't work. I survived. It didn't feel good. I felt awful, and I survived. And my system now knows that I can move through something like this. So if, next time I get the idea and I get really, oh, by the way, I wanted to do this membership that I still want to do it. I think it's just a matter of time. And I launched it, and I don't have anybody signed up for it yet, and I think it's a great offer. It's like, I want to do group calls, and I want to do like a group. So, but we'll see. But it's like, I'm not that worried about it anymore. If nobody signs up, I'm like, okay, nobody signed up yet. Let's see what happens. It's like, I don't make it personal to mean things about me, which I used to, which was not good, not helpful. And again, how I worked with this is kind of go through that route, right? Like, procrastination is avoidance, there's fear, what are you afraid of? You go through that scenario, you come out, you uncover uncomfortable feelings that you're avoiding, and then you learn how to love and accept that part of you that feel those feelings. And I can guarantee you that will work for your procrastination, and for a lot of things will get easier. For sure, because it's always, procrastination is always an inner game. It's always an emotional game. It's learning how to process those feelings you're trying to avoid, how to love unloved parts of you, and then you're free to do what you want. Okay, let's see. So whether it's a business that you avoid starting or a project at work, it's really the same process. It's really about working with the fear, and then inner aggression, and then loving the vulnerable parts of you that feel incompetent and helpless and like failures. And the greatest gift for me was to go through my actual failures, and to feel all the feelings, to actually stop fearing that. Because now I know if I fail, I'll still be here, I'll love myself, life goes on, and I'll be okay. I'll be okay because I will love and accept myself. And what we're really afraid of getting stuck in this self-abusive patterns, feeling guilty. That's the real scary thing. It is scary. It's very much getting stuck in self-created, self-inflicted suffering is probably the worst feeling ever. Of course, you don't want to go there. Of course, you don't want to feel that, and you'll avoid it. You'll avoid it at all costs, which makes sense. Okay, this feels good. This is like a maybe I talked for like 30 minutes straight. I don't know. I didn't even notice it. That was just like kind of like it was just pouring out of me all this wisdom and knowledge. If you have a question or a real comment, or if you try this process and it works or it doesn't work, let me know. Maybe there's some refining in how I explain things. I do have people ask me like, well, how do you feel fear? Or how do you feel anger? So yeah, if I need to explain that more, I will, because I have a few more lives. And yeah, have a good day, and I hope this will help people not procrastinate more and move forward in projects that they really care about. Bye.